Hello everyone, welcome to the Exampreptool. Myself Raj, I'm currently working at a product-based company in Bangalore. So in this lecture, we will try to understand what is the logical execution order of the SQL query. Since it is a very first lecture, so therefore before we get into the actual topic, it is essential to understand some foundational concept. So then we will enter into our actual interview question. Now let's start with the basic fundamental question. Like what is the database and how do we retrieve the data from the database? Okay. Can you tell me what is the database? In a simple terminology, you can say that it is a very systematic or structured storage system that organizes the data very effectively, making it very easier to retrieve and manage further. Okay, but the question is like how do we store the data in a databases? Can you tell me? How do we store the data in a databases? We all know that all relational databases store the data in a table format containing rows and columns, right? You can compare it with the Excel sheet simply. Okay. And the next question is how do we retrieve the data from the databases? You might be having idea about the SQL, right? Using that SQL, we will be interacting with the databases based on our business requirement. We will be retrieving the data. Okay, fine. But which command you are using to retrieve the databases in SQL? There are so many commands in SQL, right? Can you tell me? Yeah, you might be having idea about that. Yes, that is a select statement. Okay. Using the select statement, we will be retrieving the data from the databases. Okay. Now it is just like asking a question to the databases. When you ask the question, database will reply to your queries. Okay. Understood, right? Simply see, this is a databases. Now you understood that SQL using the select statement, you are getting the data from the databases, right? So when you ask the question to the databases, it will reply to your queries. Okay. That is the select statement, importance of the select statement. Okay. Now let's move on and understand its syntax. Okay. What is the basic syntax of the SQL query? Right. Now you see that this is the basic syntax of the SQL query. And if you observe, there are so many clauses, so many statements are there. Okay, in SQL query. Just observe, there are so many statements in the basic SQL query. Now we will go step by step, understand each and every class. Okay, what is the select? What is its purpose? Now you understood already. Select, it is to retrieve the data from the databases. And what is the purpose of the from class? What is the purpose of the where class? What is the purpose of the group by, having, and order by? Okay. Now, simply for the select, actually, you can say that using the select, you are choosing the which column to retrieve from the databases. Okay. And there is a one statement called a distinct. Okay. One keyword, distinct. What is the purpose of the distinct? Tell me. Suppose let's say in your database, if there is any, whenever you are retrieving the data, if there is any chance of duplication, duplicate records while retrieving the data, so then if you want to avoid that particular duplicated records, then you will be using the distinct clause. Okay. Then what is the purpose of the from? The purpose of the from is whenever you are retrieving the data, so whatever the data or tables that you wanted to retrieve from, so it will identify whether that particular tables are available in the database or not. Okay. Now what is the next class? Where? What is the purpose of the where? It will apply the filters to the your query. Okay, so whenever you are retrieving the data, it is not like you completely retrieve the complete table data retrieve, right? Sometimes the business requirement will be different. Based on certain conditions, you have to retrieve the data from the database, right? So using the where class, you will be applying the filters before grouping the data from the databases. Okay, after completing the filters from in the where class, immediately in the group by, you are grouping the data or you are categorizing the data based on the specific columns using the group by class. Okay, then immediately on top of the grouping data, you are again applying the filter using the having class. Okay, then immediately after applying the filters using the having, then you will be arranging the data based on particular order, based on particular columns. Okay, maybe it will be ascending order or descending order, something like that. Okay, I hope you understood. Now we will enter into the actual concept, logical order of execution of the SQL query. Now, can you tell me? It is a question to you. So just ask yourself. So now you are writing the SQL query. Can you say that? So whatever the order that you written, the SQL is executing in the same way. Can you think for a moment and understand, like how does it executes basically? So that is what we are going to address here. So now we will get into the actual topic. So logical execution order of the SQL query. So basically when we write the SQL queries, we write them in a certain order, right? That you know very well. But the fundamental question is that, does it execute in the same way that you are written? Think for a moment again. Let me help you with the answer. Okay. The SQL engine does not execute them in a same order. Okay. Instead, it will follow the logical execution sequence. Okay. Let's go step by step. Okay. Okay. What is the execution order? What is the starting execution point of the SQL query? Can you tell me? It is starting with the from class. The first step is the tables that are involved in the query will be identified. So what is the data sources? Okay. Once the identified, then only it will go and perform the first next other steps. Okay. This is the very first step. Please try to concentrate on this topic. Very, very important for the interviews. Okay. Not just for theoretical aspect, but when you are working in the industry, when you are working in any of the project, so majority of the cases what happens, initially whatever the version of the query that you written might be performing slow in further point of time because of some reason. Okay, so then you have to understand where you have to tune. Okay, you have to fine tune the queries whatever you written. Okay, so if you know the execution order, then it will become very easy for you to debug the query. So that is the purpose we have started the interview question with the very the first question as this one only. Okay, what is the next step? Can you tell me? Now you understand that, you understood that your query is executing from the from class, right? Now there may be chances that there are so many other tables also involved in the from class. It is not that only single query involved, right? So there may be a chance that you might be writing the join conditions, right? So then what happens if the multiple tables are used in the SQL query? Then what happens? The SQL engine will determine how to join them first. If there is any join condition is there, then it will process first. Okay. But in our slide we have concentrated more mostly on a very basic thing. The next advanced level concept will be coming further videos. Okay, so next, see what happens. What is the next step? Okay, so in the next step, the where class will be executing. Okay, once the data source is identified, okay, then SQL filters the unwanted records before grouping happens. Okay, that means the where class applies the conditions to eliminate the rows that don't meet the our business criteria. What is the purpose of this one? You're not only getting the actual the whatever the required data, and also you are eliminating the unnecessary data, so that you are making your query, performing well. Okay, that means the efficiency will be more. That means you're reducing the data set which is not required, right? Understand carefully. Okay, that is what we have written here. And then what happens next step? The next step, the group by class will be executed. That means, see here, after applying the filters in the where class, SQL query the grouping the records based on the specific columns or specific conditions or expressions. Okay, simply you are categorizing the or grouping the data based on certain column. Okay, what is the next class? It is the having class. Understand carefully. Okay, after grouping we might want to filter the again on top of the grouping data, grouped data. So then what you will do? You will use the having class. In the having class, on the grouped data you will be writing the certain condition. Okay, understand carefully. Right, so simply you are applying the filter on the grouped data. Okay, so what is the next? So the next step is the select statement. At this stage, you are extracting the necessary columns from the group or filter data. Okay. If there is any, suppose let's say in the select, if there is any calculations involved, or if you want to any apply any functions in the select, all the things will be happening here. Okay. Simply you can say select class determines the what data is displayed in the final output. Simply you can say like that. Okay, then what is the next class? It is the distinct. Okay, distinct. Okay, suppose let's say in majority of the data sets, what happen, it will come up with the so many duplicates records. Okay, in databases, or maybe the flat files, something. Okay, and so then what happens? It is necessary to remove the duplicates from the databases. From the using the query, we will be removing the data. Okay, understood, right? If there is any duplicate records in the result set, our SQL query removing them using the distinct. Okay, what you are saying using this one, simply you are ensuring that only unique records only displayed in the output. Okay, now let's go and understand the next class. Okay, what is the next class? Very simple, right? Order by. What it does, it will sort the data based on particular order. It may be the ascending order, or it may be the descending order. Based on the column that you are using, it will sort the data. Okay, right? You understood, right? All right. Now the question is, there are two questions here. Why can't you sort the data before applying all the filters? Right? What happens if you sort the data before applying the filters? Right? Because database is in your hands only. Why can't you sort the data before applying all the filters? And also one more fundamental question is, like in where class also you are applying the filters, and having class also you are applying the filters. This is very important things. Please carefully understand. Go and explore in the internet. Try to understand why can't you apply in a single step all the filters. Now you can see that in where class also you are applying the filters, and in the having class also you are applying the filters. And also one more question is, why can't you sort the data before applying all the filters? These two three questions you try to understand carefully, because what happens, whenever you are writing the query, there may be lot of times you might need to be fine tune the your query whatever you have written. So if you know the logical execution order carefully, then it will become very easy for you to debug your query and making it improving your performance of the your query. I hope you're getting. Try to explore the question that I asked in the question that I asked. Okay. All right. So then we will understand. So now you've seen that. So logical execution order. But before closing this session, this lecture, okay. So we'll try to connect this topic to the more relatable that we are doing every day. Okay. Simply you can say that we can take the one use case, one analogy, so and we can relate the whatever we have seen so far. Okay. All right. See, before closing, try to understand this one. If you understand this analogy, then you can say that you can confidently say this particular question in interviews very confidently. Okay. Now that see here, so we will compare SQL execution step to something that we will do every day, that is shopping on Amazon. Okay, now see here. Imagine you are visiting an Amazon website to buy a product. The first thing what you will do, tell me. First thing, you are going to select the category, right? Like electronics or books, something like that. In SQL, this is equivalent to the from class. Okay, correct, right? When you decide which table to fetch the data from, just like choosing the right category, okay, that helps you find the right product, right? Selecting the right table is the first step in the retrieving the correct data. So that is what, right? Try to understand. Just you need to select the right table, similar to like selecting the right category. Okay. And what is the next step? Where class, right? What do you do after selecting the category? Can you tell me? Next step is you are applying the filter to refine your search, right? In Amazon, maybe you might need you might want only Apple products, or you set a price range below the $1,000. This is similar to the where clause in SQL, right? So which helps to eliminate the unwanted rows based on the specific conditions, right? Then what you do, tell me. After applying the filters, okay, after you applied the filters, okay, so like you selected the brand called Apple, and the price you selected certain range, right? Then what happens, can you tell me? The next step, what will you do after selecting the brand? Okay, now what you do. So you know that Amazon often groups the products into the categories like the best sellers or new arrivals, right? Similarly, in SQL also, the group by class is used to categorize the data into the groups based on some values. Okay, for example, if you want to group the sales data by region, or the maybe the product type, okay, this is where you do it. Okay, understood, right? In the group by class only. What is the next step you do? Once the Amazon has grouped the products, they may apply additional filters, right? We may apply the additional filters, right? Like showing only the products which are 4 plus star rating, right? In SQL also similarly. So this is what a having class does. Okay, it applies the filters on the again on top of the grouped data or groupings based on some aggregate conditions. Okay, what is the next step you do? Can you tell me? Now that you have now that you in Amazon you have filtered all the specific, you all applied all the filters on the products, right? Then it will display the more relevant details like product name, price, sellers, right? Understand carefully. Product name, price, seller, and so on, right? This is like a select statement in the SQL, which picks the only specific columns of data that you wanted to see as in a final output, right? I hope you are getting. Now, what is the next class? Sometimes the product appears multiple times from the different sellers in the Amazon, right? Amazon website. Then what you will do? You don't definitely we don't want to see the same product multiple times, right? So then what will happen? Amazon ensures that you don't see the duplicate listing unless it is necessary. Okay. Similarly, in SQL also, distinct class removes the duplicates records from the result. Okay. You understood, right? Now what is the next thing? Now finally you have everything in your hand, right? Finally what you will do? There may be sometimes, there may be sometimes you again want to like apply kind of sort the data. Okay, you decide how to sort the search result, right? That means displaying the products from the low price to high price items, or high price items to the low price items. Or maybe sometimes you will sort the data based on the customer ratings, right? Or maybe sometimes newest arrivals, right? This is what order by class does in SQL. It is sorting or maybe arranging the data based on the specific criteria. I hope you are getting. So whatever you have seen in the previous slides, I hope you are able to connect to this analogy, right? I hope I am making sense here, right? So by understanding this analogy, you can remember SQL execution more intuitively. Okay. Next time when you write an SQL query, think of it like a shopping in Amazon. Okay. Any questions? Please comment down this below video. Okay, we will try to address your questions. Okay. Okay, let's see one query that simply whatever you have seen right till so far. So now in this query, what they are asking, they are asked to find a total sales for the customer for the laptops, for the category called laptops. Okay. And also there is there is one more condition. They are saying that only if they have purchased more than one unit. Okay, so if they have purchased more than one unit, then only try to display that. Okay, ensuring that only unique customers only. Okay, see here, you can try to relate it to the your again the whatever you've seen, right? So they are telling that they're telling the conditions also category called laptop. And also one more thing, the quantity must be greater than the one unit. And also they are telling that unique customers only they wanted, right? In a final output, try to see this query. Okay, I've already written the query. Try to understand. Now you can see that they are asking the only unique customers data. For that, what we have done, we have used a distinct class, right? And the which table you are getting, assume that the data is contains in the only one table, which is orders. Okay, now see here. Now you can see that in the first, as a first filter, we have did like the product equal to laptop. That is the first filter, right? Once the you are applying the filter, immediately what you are doing, you are grouping the data based on the customer. Okay, and customer per laptop category, right? And then what you are doing in the next step, you are applying the one more filter, which is the if the quantity purchased by the customer is greater than one. That is what you are doing. Then finally what you are doing, you are applying the like sorting. That means in the order by you are sorting the data. Okay, based on the column total sales. Now you try to understand the same thing, um, the execution, like try to understand the execution order, what is happening in this query. Okay, there is a first step. What will happen, can you tell me? You have seen so many things, right? So far in the first step, what will happen, from orders it will execute the from order. The second line will execute, that means the from orders. Here what will happen, it will identifying the whether that particular table is available in the database or not. That is what happens in the from class. It will identify data source. Okay, then what will happen, where class will be executed. Okay, so see here, where class will be executed. That means in the where class, what we will do, basically we will apply the filters on the data. Okay, the first set of filter. Okay, this is the first set of filter. Then what will happen, the group by class will be executed. What we are doing here, we are grouping the data based on the customer. Okay, you can see here, groups the laptop sales for the customer, right? Now what is the next step here? Having class, okay? It will keep the only those who bought more than one data. That is again one more additional filter, okay? Then after all applying the filters, the selected class will comes into picture. Then if there is any duplicates records is there in the result set, then you will apply the distinct class to eliminate the unnecessary duplicates, okay? And also you are calculating the total sales. The formula is like quantity into price. You all may be having idea about, right, how it will be calculated. So then finally, final step, what will happen? It will arranging the data based on the total sales, okay, from high to low. I hope you understood this one clearly, this analogy and logical execution steps and everything, right? And also one more thing I wanted to tell you, that if you want more additional resources, right, if you want a PDF, free PDF resources, free PDF materials, books, ebooks, and we are going to share so many things in our groups and our community, like we are going to conduct so many lectures like this, like concept based SQL questions, and there are some scenario based questions also we are going to address through our videos. And then we are going to give some coding questions also, like I mean like coding SQL, the FAANG level coding questions, okay, coding queries, and some real-time use cases we are going to conduct in YouTube, okay? So if you want more additional resources, and if you want notes for the same lectures whatever we are conducting in YouTube, so please try to scan this QR code and try to connect, try to join our community, okay? Any doubts you can comment down this below video, okay? And also one more thing that we wanted to tell you, that so you've seen that there is a one program we have launched, okay, so which is a job ready program on Oracle database. We are thrilled to introduce our professional this one Oracle database program designed to build a strong foundation for the all the top tech roles. Like you may be aspiring for the data scientist role, or you may be aspiring for the data analyst role, or data engineer role, or database developer role, or maybe business intelligence tools like Power BI and all other possible roles, okay? It is very very essential to have a strong foundation in the databases. Without databases, without SQL, there is no project in the industry. So that is why Redisar is gave us clear instruction, try to have a good try to build a strong course which will be help to the students, okay? So here what you will do in this course, what we are going to do, okay, we are going to build a strong foundation in the SQL and PLSQL. And also majorly whatever we are going to do here is whatever in industry required. It is completely industry aligned curriculum. It is not like a simple theoretical things like in colleges or maybe in institutes, right, like that. No, it is not like that. It is not like just another course. So whatever that we are going to do here, it is completely very very useful in industries. Not only cracking the interviews, but after getting the job, how do you survive in the industry? You need to know little bit things, right? At least few things. Whatever you learned in your academic, something like that Unix cell scripting, how can you use the Unix cell scripting to automate the database activities, right? We never see this kind of things while learning the SQL thing, SQL queries and all, right? So that is where our EPT makes the difference here. So we come up with the program which will be help you to crack any kind of interview. Not only that, after cracking the interview, how do you confidently handle that work whatever assigned to you confidently, okay? That is what our main intention. So here we will understand, try to building the first step is that building the strong foundation in SQL and PLSQL. And also how do you automate the database activities, right? And also there are so many times what happens, so based on our academic knowledge we will come and we will write the queries, but we don't think about the efficiency of the query, right? You must know optimization things, right? If there is any chance that because of some whenever you were writing initially, you were writing with the very simple test data, In reality, what will happen in production, in the live environment, what will happen, there is a large set of data will be there, large amount of data will be there, huge amount of data will be there. When you are applying your query there to the large set of large amount of data, the query performance will be very slow. You must know the some optimization techniques in order to improve the efficiency of the your query. Okay, that is where in this course we are not only giving the theory, the foundation concepts, and also we are going to give you some optimization tips along with the automating using the Unix shell scripting. Okay, and also, okay, after once the SQL part is query, once the SQL topic is done, then we are going to give the some FAANG level SQL questions also to improve your problem solving skills. Okay, and also after completing the PLSQL, there are three parts are there here. One is the SQL. Once the SQL is completed, so then you are going to solve the so many FAANG level SQL challenges. After that, you are going to see so many PLSQL concepts. Okay, here not only just the fundamental topics, we are going to deal with the very advanced level concepts also, like collections, some performance optimization related topics, procedure, functions, cursors, exception handling, and we are going to see very in depth on triggers also, triggers. Okay, and also after completing the PLSQL, so you need to apply the whatever theoretical concept that you learned in the real world, right? How do you apply? You must know this. You have to do some project, right? At least a mini project, if not the enterprise level project, right? So that is why we are going to have a one project also here. Okay, here this project you are experiencing the real world. Okay, real world scenarios, like simply we have seen, right, the so many times I'm telling that optimization and automation. Okay, automating the database activities and all, right? You are going to experience the real world project. Okay, and making and preparing yourself for the high paying jobs. Trust me guys, like if you have a strong knowledge in database, it will open the multiple dimensions to you. Okay, just like I told you, like if you are aspiring for the data scientist role, SQL is mandatory. Data analyst role, SQL is mandatory. Data engineer is role, SQL is mandatory. Database developer role, SQL is mandatory. Business intelligence role like Power BI developer, SQL is mandatory. And all other possible roles also, SQL is mandatory. I challenge you, can you say no to all these things? Right? I believe you don't have an answer. You can't say no, right? This is a very strong foundation necessary for all roles. Okay, that is why we have come up with this course. Being a computer science, it is really important to have a strong foundation in databases. And also one more important thing, if you have a strong knowledge in one particular relational database, assuming the relational databases, which is the world's number one relational database is Oracle, right? If you have a strong knowledge in Oracle databases, then it will make easier for you to work on some other relational databases also, like MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, like that. So many other databases, relational databases, right? Right. One more thing, guys, like before closing this lecture, so we will encourage all of you to share your key learnings from today's lecture. So we request you to tag us, write in our own terminology what you understood. Please post it in the your LinkedIn. Please try to engage in LinkedIn also, because so many recruiters are recruiting through the LinkedIn also, right? You know this very well. Please try to engage. Please try to share your learnings with us. Okay, so that we will be having a track also. Please try to write in your own words what you are learning, and please try to tag us, Reddy sir, and our page and madam. Okay, I hope you understood. If you share and we will be having a track, then it will be easy for us also. You can share your feedback and everything. Okay, if you have any concerns, questions and everything, you can reach out to this number or mail ID. Okay, Thank you guys. I hope you understood something out of this lecture. Thank you so much.